Peter Malone, the academy manager. Peter, newly appointed the job since January. What are your thoughts after just even this short period in the job?
First of all, I've been very impressed with the players in the academy. I think there's some excellent prospects there. The work ethic among the players is excellent. The staff that's there in the academy, Greg Oliver, Colin McMahon, the rugby development officers, they're both excellent guys. They've recently come into the academy as well. So the quality of the players is high, the quality of staff is high, and we just got to make sure that we get these guys from academy level up to the next level with Munster.
For the layperson, Peter, I mean, could you sort of outline the objectives of the academy programme here in Munster? I know it's the same, but here in Munster.
Yeah, the academy is a programme that we put players through with the end goal to make these guys at a standard to play professional rugby for Munster and then on to Ireland as well. So most of the guys in the academy would be doing a third level course. So we try and combine our programme with their studies. So they graduate from college, the academic side is looked after, and then on the rugby side of things that we put them through a programme, develop them conditioning wise, rugby wise. The other aspects of the academy would be nutrition, mental skills. We put them through a wide ranging programme, so they come out at the end of the 3 years with an ability to come straight into the Munster squad and move on maybe up to Munster, Heineken Cup and Ireland.
And Peter, what would you say, what attributes does a young man need to start off in the academy and see it through?
Well, obviously they have to be a talented rugby player. They have to come through maybe an identification system that we pick them out as potential future professional players. But when they get into the academy, it is tough. They have to balance their college work and their rugby load, which can be heavy at times. They have to manage their time. They have to make sure they get their priorities right. So they need a good attitude. They need to have an ability to work hard and maybe prioritise their goals. They should be very goal oriented.
How do you identify? How does Peter Malone? What structure do you have to identify these players in around Munster or whatever?
Through the Munster system, we would, starting at 16 and 17, we would select players for regional development squads, which is a very wide base. So we'd have a north, east, south, and west development squad at 17s, at 16s and 17s level. There could be 120 players throughout those two squads, and that would be for clubs and schools. So we would monitor those squads at 16s, 17s. At 18s level, Munster would select an 18s clubs and 18s schools team, and we would continue to monitor them up to 19s, 20s, and then if they were continuing to show ability and promise through all those squads, they could come into contention for an academy, sub-academy and then an academy contract. So
you'll have an influx of players into your sub-academy, and then at the end of that particular year or that particular period, you've got to either cull them or bring them onto the next level.
Yeah, we bring in guys to the sub-academy probably for a year-long period, and then if we feel they have the ability and the attitude and the work rate, they could move into a full academy contract, and the output of that academy contract would be after 2 to 3 years, they would move on to play professional rugby. So it would really be at that stage when they move into the academy process, it would be really confirmation that this guy is going to be a professional rugby player.
Is there a sort of facility, if a guy who comes through the sub-academy maybe the first year doesn't have what you think he needs, goes out of it, could he come back in later into that system?
Absolutely, I think that's happened on a few occasions. Like, we continue to monitor guys throughout their rugby playing career, especially in Munster. I think we have a great relationship with the clubs, and guys can develop at different stages. So if a guy goes back to a club or an underage team and continues to develop and perform well in his team, we'll continue to monitor that. Especially in front row players and front five players, these guys can develop a small bit later, and we keep an eye on them at all stages.
Do you liaise? Do you have meetings with the other provincial managers, academy managers?
You would, yeah. We would meet probably once a quarter, I would say. Once every 2 to 3 months we would meet and just have a general chat on how things are going, issues that might crop up, So we all operate on a common system, but we bring our own culture to it. I mean, Leinster's a different culture to Munster, but we're all operating through an IRFU kind of framework, and that is the outline of our programme. And then the Munster Academy and the Leinster Academy, Connacht, Ulster, with all of their cultural attributes they bring from their own province.
Peter, you come in at a time when players, if you like, profile players, the likes of Danny Barnes, Peter O'Mahony, Simon Zebo and Conor Murray have come through that system and gone on to be what they are today. Does that put added pressure on Peter Malone to, if you like, follow through with that quality of player? Are you confident that player is there?
It does put pressure, yeah. There should be pressure on every year to bring guys through. I don't know whether they came through or not. There should be pressure every year to produce guys to play for Munster. You're not always going to have vintage years, but this is the function of the academy. It is to produce professional players, produce rounded individuals to move on to play with Munster. And on the other side of things, if they don't make it to be a professional player, that at least we've looked after them from an academic point of view as well and supported them.
And finally, Peter, for people out there who are wondering about the future of Munster, from what you see in your academy, how would you judge the future of Munster Rugby?
I think the future of Munster is very good. Munster Rugby is very good. There's some guys coming through with great potential. We'll probably see in the next 12 to 18 months. Hopefully a few more guys step up from academy A team into that Rabbit Direct and Heineken Cup team. So I think the progression and the quality of players down the line is good as well. So I think the future is good overall.